I can't wait to see how they're able to capture, whatever it is that we've done, and how they're going to make our characters look. From what I understand, they're trying to make the guys, they're going to make the head on this thing look pretty much like this head. I think it's supposed to be a lot bigger and probably have some differences, but it should look like me. And Alita should look like Rosa. The technology does a lot more than just capture motion. It literally captures emotion. It captures performance. We've got a lot of tracking dots that are on our face, and we're wearing a helmet that has a camera. And the camera's kind of like this wide angle thing that's really, it's kind of really a bizarre, like too wide of an angle, but it's just capturing what's going on with our face, right? Then they've got these reference monitors, as well as what the movie camera is seeing, that they can actually see, even though we kind of look ridiculous with our little helmets. You can still see what we're doing, how, with our thought processes, our the performance, and so every time I've had a great time working with Rosa, and it is kind of a trip how her and I have to be able to look at each other and imagine, that we're going to be these two other characters. But in acting, acting really is reacting. And, Rosa's a phenomenal actress. So when we're playing across from one another, we're able to kind of tap into each other's energy as we're reacting and emoting with one another. And, these characters, while I'm still going to be this insanely massive 9-foot-tall, super broad-shouldered cyborg, it's still going to be my face. It might be a much bigger head, but it's going to be my face, as good as Avatar look. It's kind of bizarre when you talk about like the approach to performing. A lot of it boils down to, ultimately it's the same. You're acting, you're reacting, you're trying to kind of get to this, natural place and to do this scene. But playing a 9-foot-tall robot, or cyborg or whatever. I mean, a lot of times, there's been times where we're doing a scene, and there's a guy behind me carrying this pole with a tennis ball on the end of it. And Rosa's standing over there, and she needs to look up at that tennis ball. And so I'm performing here, and I'm looking at her ankles, So that kind of, it's not as, it's fun when we're able to look each other in the face, because then, again, that's, to me, it's much easier to react than it is to act. But sometimes as actors, you have to, like, put a little piece of tape on something, and there's your eye line, and you just have to, pretend. Grewishka is this interesting character. He's only ever, up to a point in his life, he had been born basically in the sewers, in the underworld. And he was pretty much abandoned there. So he had this horrible life. He knew there was an above, but I think at one point in time he kind of got up to a sewer drainage ditch and was noticed by some young kids above the surface. And they basically just abused him and burnt the crap out of him, and he was left to die. So he's had this really tortured, miserable life. But before succumbing to dying in the underworld from these horrible burns, Nova discovered him and empowered him, turned him into a very powerful 9-foot-tall cyborg so that he could play in the motorball games. And Vector took a very strong interest in Grewishka, and Grewishka was a rising star. He was finally getting what he had always wanted in life, to have a life, to be alive, and to be noticed. And he got up to the final match where he was going to be the victor, but he lost. And when he lost when he lost Motorball and he lost the champion, what happened to him is what happened to so many people who have lost, that have been built into these powerful things. They're just kind of left out on the street. And so Vector found another way to use Grewishka, and that was to get Grewishka to, find unsuspecting cyborgs and basically kill them so that he could harvest them for parts for Vector to use on other champs that they're trying to build to be the strongest motor baller. And so that's basically what Grewishka's gig now is. He's out harvesting parts from other cyborgs. Grewishka has a real problem with proficient hunter warriors, and Dr. Ito is one of those. And Grewishka kind of lays out a trap for him one night when he's kind of notices he's heading in a certain direction. And that's where Grewishka, along with a couple of accomplices, basically catch him and blindside him, ambush him basically in an alley. And the gig is up for Ito at that point because, Grewishka's been after him for a while and he wants to kill him dead. So he'll stop, going after cyborgs because Grewishka wants to go after those cyborgs and harvest those parts. But Alita, whom Grewishka has not met, just pops into the scene because she was following Ito. And so suddenly Grewishka and his two accomplices have a real problem. The person I've probably worked with the most is Rosa, and she's an awesome actress. I mean, it was really neat that when we had that first day of doing motion/performance capture, and it was during pre-production, so really kind of got to know her on those few days, and I think we were both just really excited to be part of this, wearing our little Teletubby outfits and looking really ridiculous and having to commit and own these scenes. But she's a phenomenal actress. I think she's just nailing this, and I can't wait to see her performance that we're gonna get to see through this CG world stuff, because I just know it's gonna be there and it's gonna be Rosa and it's gonna look awesome.
Hey guys, here's today's daily fact. Now, there will be blood disrupted shooting for No Country for Old Men. In 2007, they filmed in the same area of Marfa, Texas, which created issues when a pyrotechnical test for There Will Be Blood created a huge smoke cloud that got into the shot for No Country for Old Men. Joel and Ethan Coen had to wait for it to dissipate before they could get back to shooting. Now remember to click here below to subscribe for more great content, and on the side for another video.